Welcome.
Instagram. Like it or not, Instagram is stronger than it has ever been. And while it is true that the days of Instagram being a simple photo sharing service are long gone, having been replaced over the past few years with influencers and algorithms and shadow bans, it is still an absolute treasure trove of undiscovered artists just waiting for your greedy, greedy eyes. But that pesky algorithm has made it so that finding new artists is not the simple task that it used to be. And it's led to a number of savvy users to come up with creative ways of connecting these creators to their potential audiences. That's you. One of those users is my guest today. Her name's Alexandra and she's a fantastic illustrator who, along with the amazingly talented Soph from Sleepy Serpent Taxidermy, has created this. Artisanuary is a month-long prompts list in the same vein as the wildly popular Inktober, except that this one encourages creatives of all sorts to show the world their skills, both in their work and behind the scenes, while also making it easier for other Instagram users, that's you, to find them amongst the millions of TikTok reposts and pictures of people's dinners. Alexandra joined me for a chat from her home in England to explain a little bit more about her and Soph's project.
Can't hear you.
There we go.
No. Oh, I can hear you now. Nice. All right. Hang on a sec. The cat's scratching at the door. Coming in. I have a cat with separation anxiety.
Oh, that's actually so cute.
Okay, cool.
Really
So, right, we should start this interview.
I've got some little notes as well. I was like, just in case there's anything I forget.
So this is it's like the first face-to-face interview I've ever done. So you having notes makes me look better. What can't go up there? There you go. Good play. Not stable. So she goes up there and starts playing. She's going to hurt herself. Or potentially me, because it comes forward. Let's get cracking, I guess. What led to the inception of Artisanuary?
Yeah, so I literally got a message from Soph being like, I'm thinking of doing an artist prompt list. Do you want to get involved with it? So I sort of jumped at the chance, really. I thought it sounded really cool. I'd sort of tried and failed a couple of years to do that March Meet the Maker that kind of goes on as a hashtag on Instagram and stuff. And I'd always found it quite hard because I hadn't planned in advance. I hadn't kind of and the thought of it kind of came along at the right time, really, where I had a bit of time off over Christmas to kind of get prepped. And we just kind of sat down and thought about what prompts could we do, and we wanted to make it something that was really accessible for any creatives rather than just kind of traditional fine art or whatever. So, you know, whether it's baking, chefs, if it's tattooists, anything really. So we wanted the prompts to be quite broad so that everyone can kind of get involved. And I think with 2020 being the way that it was, having so much time for some people over lockdown meant that so many small businesses were popping up with loads of new different concepts and stuff like that. So I think just giving someone a showcase to start 2021 off a bit better than 2020 to kind of push their work and see what they're proud of and stuff.
Yeah, no, well, because that was one of the things I noticed is that you seem to have done it at a point, which is, I mean, we're by no means at the end of this, but, you know, so far people have turned their hands to something that maybe they might not have done in the past, and it has led to, even if it's just like a hobby, then, you know, this is something they can get involved with, but also, like you say, like a showcase for actual new businesses, which there must be so many that are coming out of having all this free time. Honestly, I really enjoy these Instagram prompts. I have a pretty big Instagram following, but I'm really bad at it. But then these prompt lists come and I'm just like, every day I've got to put something out there. I notice my engagement goes up, and there's a lot of you know, bad stuff said about worrying about your likes and stuff on Instagram. Obviously that's not the be all and end all, but at the end of the day, as like a small business owner, the engagement definitely is what helps, and I see it lift during these things.
No, I find exactly the same. Where I'm working full-time teaching, my mind isn't always on the sort of art side of things and all of that. So I mean, aside from recycling old posts just to put something out there, I've gone gone weeks without having anything new to show, especially at the moment with the pandemic. So having something where I then over Christmas had to sit down and think, right, these are the prompts. I've got this whole list of kind of ideas in this little sketchbook, you know, what could I post for this day? And it's actually forced me to kind of create new stuff as well, because I can't just go, oh, I'll use these old posts and use it. So it has been really good for sort of discipline as well, making me actually sit down and find the time to be creative and stuff where I wouldn't necessarily have done before.
I think you've approached it a good way. I've gone like I'm like 2 days behind with it, but it was the time lapse. It was that during that time lapse took like 4 days and that. All right, so the process of like coming up with the prompts, you've got to come up with how many days are in January? 31? Is it 31? I should have checked. So you've got to come up with 31 interesting, creative prompts that are very different to each other. Like they can't be too repetitive, can they? Like otherwise it would lose steam so quickly. So the process of coming up with those prompts, how was that?
One day. Well, it was an afternoon for me, where Sofa contacted me and said, I want to do this. I was out Christmas shopping pre-lockdown, and I was like, yeah, sounds amazing. And then literally that afternoon, she's a whiz with all the graphics and stuff, so all of the design of it is completely her. And yeah, basically she had sort of half a list written up, and I was sort of in my mind while I was going around the shops thinking, oh, this one would be really cool. And it kind of almost came from a place of sort of, I would want to maybe showcase this or whatever, and thinking about what would people want to show off. It's been really interesting seeing how people have sort of interpreted the different prompts. As you know, we've had tattoo artists showing cover-ups, which I'm always obsessed with looking at. Some of the tattooists that I've seen from this challenge, I've just been like mind blown. And so yeah, we wanted the prompt list to be sort of quite broad really, because obviously we didn't want just painters, we didn't want just sort of, I don't know, dot work artists like I do. So it had to be something that could be sort of quite open to interpretation, which was harder almost to think of, but easier in other ways because it could be so broad.
With something like Inktober, it's focused on just one, not just one medium obviously, but the idea is it's just a drawing list. So with them it's like themes of what's going to appear on the paper. But with these ones, I think it's cool how it's just like themes of how people approach their work. Like I've just pulled up the list now, and time was today's one. Like I said, I'm 2 days behind, haven't really put much thought into today's one yet. But I would imagine that my interpretation of time would be completely different to someone who is, like you say, a tattoo artist or a baker or someone who builds furniture. You know, all of whom fall into the umbrella of the people that you're targeting.
I kind of interpreted it with, you know, how long do pieces take? And it's kind of like dot work takes forever. So I was like, yeah, this piece probably took about 45 to 50 hours. But then, you know, there's tattooists who could sort of showcase pieces they've done around time or anything like that. So it could be literally drawing time, or it could be kind of how long things take. So it's quite nice having that sort of open to interpretation and stuff.
It's interesting that these are not prompts about just what you want to see on the paper. Aside from that one, in the sort of 10 that you've done so far, do you have any others that really stood out in terms of the content that you got back?
Yeah, I really like the FAQ one, because it was just one of those prompt lists where, you know, it was just so interesting to see people talk about what their followers wanted to know about or whatever. I saw so many people the day before throwing open question boxes on Instagram stories and then using what they wanted, their followers wanted to know and stuff like that. And I know that sort of I get questions sometimes and they are kind of repetitive, and not that I don't like answering them, but just that it's quite nice to be able to have those then in one place.
Do you have any others that are coming up which you're really looking forward to, like any that stand out?
Yeah, there's a couple. I think there's one of like artists that you love, and I think so often we kind of get bogged down in kind of on Instagram thinking about how's my engagement going and this, that and the other, and I think it's so nice to be able to kind of showcase different artists, different people that you really love their work, or you really kind of admire the way they do things, whether it's someone you know or a different artist that you may never have spoken to but you kind of like lurk and sort of admire from afar. So the inspiration one and artists you love, I'm so excited for, just because then I can show off who inspires me, who I really love, and then I can see inspiration from others and where they get them from. And I think that's going to kind of blow it open and kind of really show people all the different ranges of stuff that goes on. So that one I'm looking forward to. And then the other one is the fan favorite one as well, because I think sometimes we have pieces of work that we're attached to, whether it means something to us or we sort of just slaved away on it and spent ages. Like the one that I posted for Time, it took me so long. So I'm really attached to that piece. But there's actually others which sell better in my Etsy shop that maybe took me half the time, that I'm a bit more, it's okay. Whereas other people kind of just seem to want that on their wall for some reason, which is amazing. But sometimes the pieces you think are going to be most popular don't always end up being that way. So I think the fan favorite one, I'm quite intrigued to see if it differs from actual favorites.
Honestly, like, I'm always a sucker for seeing pictures of people's pets. So I'm hoping that on the day of animal, it's not just drawings of animals. I hope a couple pets get thrown in there. Are there any of them that you're a little apprehensive of, that you don't really know what the, not that you're not looking forward to seeing it, but is there any that you kind of, I wonder how that's going to go over?
Do you know what it's been day 9 yesterday, the one that was like, oops, that one I had no idea what to post, because if I make mistakes I get rid and just sort of just bin it or whatever. I don't tend to kind of try and go like, you know how Bob Ross will just kind of go, oh, happy accident, and kind of like do something cool with it. I just get annoyed with myself and bin it. So I had nothing. You know, I get so worried with my work of like, I've done 15 hours on this, I don't want to kind of ruin it at the last stages. So it got to the sort of the day and I really needed something to post, and I was like, oh, I'm really worried. And I ended up just kind of, luckily I had screwed something up that day, so I sort of just fished it back out the recycling and just went, oh, there we go, and put it on my story, because I knew it wasn't like a aesthetically pleasing post. It was, that's the thing, is seeing other people just absolutely own it and be like, yeah, messed this up, but here's how it turned out, was really cool and really kind of felt quite raw for some people to do, which was really nice. So obviously we're 10 days in, but any messages to anyone who might be a little apprehensive or feel like they might have missed the boat? Like, there's no no issue with joining in now. We're only a third of the way through, so we've still got 21 days left, which is a huge amount of time. And you know, if you've got stuff that we've done the past 10 prompts, post it, hashtag it. Soph and I are still checking through every day, posting lots to our stories and stuff, just to kind of get the word out and get people's work seen as well. And you know, if you've missed them, just join in from now. Really, really, really go for it.
Cool. Well, unless you've got anything else that you want to...
just if you want to get involved, do
it. How do people find it?
Hashtag Artisanuary and hashtag Artisanuary 2021, because then we can update that one every year. But thanks so much.
No problem. All right, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Lovely. You too. Bye.
Bye.
So there you go. You heard her. What's stopping you? There's still over 2 weeks left of the Artisanuary challenge, so why not play a bit of catch up, or just start from here? And make sure you hit up the Artisanuary hashtags on Instagram, even if it is just to browse what's already been posted. All of the artists featured in this Instagram video are linked in the description down below. Definitely go and check them out if you like what you saw. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. All my socials are below. I have a Patreon down there if you feel so inclined. Make sure you tell your friends, your nans, your pets. Stay safe. Goodbye.